And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Welcome into RBLR Sports. My name is Musab, and it's good to be back. And would you look at that? June is here. About 8 more weeks till we see some football. Week by week, we are also making some moves and putting in some work. And I can't speak further without introducing my fellow co-host tonight who put in that work last week. Big thank you all to y'all, gentlemen. Cruising into the show with his 1979 Ford Thunderbird with the RBLR Bucs flag dancing in the air. We got Carter in the house. How we doing, Carter?
Oh, man, after that introduction, shit, I mean, it's good to be here. It's good to be talking some Bucks with y'all. That's living lavish, my friend. Living lavish. It was a good day at work, but I sure am happy to be on here with y'all. So let's get it.
Maybe I should have mentioned you're also pulling up with a Living Lavish t-shirt. That's your signature line, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm always living lavish. If you ain't living lavish.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I think, who also living lavish because he's pulling up to the scene straight onto the runaway in the RBLR private jet, coming out with the TB12 briefcase in a pewter red suit. What is going on, Santiago?
What's up, Musab? Welcome back, amigo. Welcome back. It's awesome hearing your voice. And yeah, I'm living life, man. Thank you, man. Like coming in the Learjet and the private jet. Yeah, you guys are coming with, we're all together in that jet flying, and just can't wait to talk about Bucs football. And yeah, let's go, man. Super excited for this week. Let's go. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Listeners, before we dig deep into some Buccaneers football, if you could do us a favor and however you're listening to this, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast, I'm going to tell you this. There's probably a follow button down there, a like button, a subscribe button. And, listen, it would seriously mean a lot to us here at RBLR. And also a friendly reminder, we are on social media platforms at RBLR Sports. Gentlemen, let's just get right into it. I feel like, if anything, the biggest news has to be from the Chicago Bears. We got Akiem Hicks signing a 1-year deal. I guess my first immediate thought, gentlemen, was that I was like, ooh, okay, goodbye, Sue, huh? Carter, when you first found out about the news, what were your overall thoughts? What was your first reaction?
Well, I mean, it's excitement because I figured up to this point we've kind of come to the conclusion as Bucs fans that Ndamukong Suh is not coming back. He's gone for whatever reason, just didn't work out, and that's okay. He was a great player during his time here, but always a time where you have to move on. But really, my first reaction to Hicks himself, was injuries. He has been hurt a lot. It's a little bit of concern, especially someone of his age. He's 32 in the position that he plays. It's a tough thing to deal with all those injuries. He's had a long career. He's coming up on a decade. He hasn't played a lot over the past few years. He's just been kind of in and out of games. He had 15 games played in 2020, but the other 2 years, 2019 and last season, he didn't even crack double digits in games played. So it's just a bit of a concern, especially for a team that is kind of top heavy. There's not a lot of depth, but it also takes some pressure off a second round pick, Logan Hall. So definitely more pros than cons, but the injury thing does concern me a little bit. But how about y'all? How are y'all feeling about it?
It concerns me a lot as well, just because, if we're comparing Akiem Hicks and Ndamukong, so I'm thinking, Sue's been known for I don't think he's ever missed really any game. Seriously, I feel like minus his suspension, I feel like he's been in every single game. And when you bring up something like that, it's definitely something to raise my eyebrows for, because I'm like, okay, for sure, we got a veteran, guy that we just got, but Santiago, how do you also feel about, the fact that we got him for 10 million, and then also, what Carter was saying, in Dom Kong Su's days may be over with us?
Yeah, definitely. When you're spending, even if it's 10 million, like when you're spending any kind of money on an injury prone player, it's kind of tough. Maybe I don't know, maybe the front office thought like, yeah, he's a veteran and possibly, they probably had many talks with Sue but it's a business. So, I just hope he doesn't get injured this year. I want him to see, maybe he needs to, do some different type of training. Maybe Tom can tell him, hey, do this type of training. Maybe he can learn from Vita Vea. I know he's got more experience in the league, but still, you're doing something wrong to keep getting injured. And nobody wants to get injured, right? So it is kind of a tough and definitely Sue was a crucial part of our game when he was out there. He was never injured. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what I think. Like, and I know we're thinking all the same thing. Please, Akiem Hicks, you're here in Tampa. You know, do your thing, and we got to win a championship. That's what we got to do, gentlemen. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The way I see it is, listen, I mean, injuries unfortunately are bound to happen. This is football we're talking about. But for me, I only brought up the 10 mil just because that was kind of the chatter when we got this guy. People are like, "Whoa, that's quite a lot for someone like him, huh?" But for me, it's more like, okay, I'll just, to be honest, as always, as I say before, I'll just let someone else worry about that. My big thing is I want to be as optimistic as I can, and if he does stay healthy, our D line is going to be a complete force. Seriously, just imagine him and Vita Vea. That's going to be real fun to watch. And clearly, I mean, based on the Bears' performance, and when I was, looking more on this guy, a lot of people were saying, and even the stats were showing that the Bears, with and without him, uh, they look different. So I can just say that I just hope the best. If anything, yeah, I just hope injuries are not an issue for him. But if they aren't, then I got a lot of high hopes that our D line is going to be super, super dominant. And yeah, overall, I mean, what was this the right move, guys? Picking Hicks over Sue or not?
I mean, it's hard to tell. It's hard to say because when Hicks is healthy, when he's right, he's been graded at I think about a 72 on Pro Football Focus, and so was graded like at a 52. So it's definitely a huge upgrade production wise when he's healthy. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Plus, you can't really measure the leadership that Sub brought. I mean, Hicks has been around, so he'll provide a good locker room presence. But he also, he played for the Saints. He was drafted by the Saints. I think a lot of people forget that's where he got his start. So it's just a very interesting. It's a very interesting pickup. It's going to be tough to say if they made the right choice moving on from Suttigo to Hicks. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if he stays healthy. Absolutely. If not, it might be a tough situation for sure.
Yeah, I think it should work well. I hope. Santiago, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I hope it works out. I agree with everything Carter just said. Like you got to stay healthy, man. I don't know. Go do some. Go to the beach. Relax the muscles. Go to Clearwater Beach. Go to, you know, I don't know, Indian Rocks,
You
which has
can't be
nice
relaxing.
sand.
You can't be
What I mean?
relaxing too much
You know what
now,
I
though,
mean?
Santiago.
But
Hey,
but
we
you
got a
gotta.
Super Bowl to win.
I agree. I agree what you just said, Carter. I'm Super Bowl mentality here. I'm thinking Super Bowl all the way, but he has to have something to because when you're up in the cold in Chicago, it's so cold, it's windy city, your muscles tense up, He's here he's here in the warm, humid weather of Florida, So
I'm
nice weather
hoping
all year
he'll
round.
play nice and easy. Then I'm hoping he'll just he'll be less tense or just because the way I see it, I mean our seven's looking real hot. I mean, and I got to say though, gentlemen, it's looking kind of interesting as well. We're picking up new guys, and I just love how kind of overall refreshed our D line, or overall our team is looking. I just felt like overall we made the right moves, and that's what kind of keeps me happy. He's like, okay, listen, we did the best we could. I think it was a good pickup, and that's kind of just my final thoughts on it. Anything else, guys?
No.
Yeah, no, that's really it. It was a pretty straightforward deal.
Yeah,
The injuries are just the only real concern with him.
absolutely. Well, Now we're just going to go a little bit onto the positional breakdown, get the remaining positions. And we're just going to start out with the offensive outside linebackers. Uh, First of all, look, we got Shaq Barrett, JTS has those starters, but, right behind guys, Anthony Nelson and Cam Gill, and even others. Okay. We're talking, Andre Anthony, Patrick O'Connor. Any of these guys overall, do they, what do you have to kind of say? Listen, we already know that, who our starters are going to be. Okay, Shaq Barrett, JTS. Do you think that, someone like Anthony Nelson, Cam Gill, overall thoughts are going to be a big factor? Or do you also think that, the guys I mentioned before, people like Andre Anthony, you think they're also going to get their time to shine?
I mean, Anthony Nelson is I think he's pretty well entrenched as a kind of a depth guy. He does a pretty decent enough job when he fills in. He's still pretty young. As far as backup pass rushers, backup outside linebackers go, you could definitely do far worse. And Cam Gill, Cam Gill's always been interesting to me. He's been more of a special teams kind of guy. But it'll be interesting to see if they try to bring in any free agent pass rushers, just because, it is a little light. The great thing about last season, they had that rotation of Barrett, JTS, and JPP. But this season, if one of them goes down, Anthony Nelson's good in spurts, but good Lord, starting him, I don't know about that. So it's definitely an interesting position to see, just to see if they maybe bring in someone, like I said, or we'll see how it goes. But it's definitely a tough position depth-wise. It's very top-heavy. What about y'all? How are y'all feeling about it?
Santiago, what are you? Look, we even got, behind Anthony Nelson and Shaq Barrett, people like, we picked up Jordan Young, Elijah Ponder. Do these guys have any kind of relevance, or even Anthony Nelson, Cam Gill? Overall thoughts?
Well, my opinion and what I think about that is that, Shaq Barrett, man, he was one of our main pillars, and, definitely don't want to see, I love competition. I do. But, you know, um, I believe, he's going to be the top favorite for that position right there. Really depends who comes in second, and so anybody else who's grounding and pounding over there at $1 right now, and going to be doing those OTAs and stuff, like, hey, I want it to be, I cannot really pinpoint it. You know what I'm saying, Musa? But whoever it is, because like Carter said, it's very top heavy. Bring it on, bring it,
Yeah.
just bring it.
Well, I have a question for y'all. Don't y'all think? Just with the injuries and everything else that happened this past season, when you look at the depth chart, we really did snag a lot of guys, especially on the defensive side as well. People like Andre Anthony, as I mentioned, Jordan Young, even on the other linebacker side, I will talk about it very soon. JJ Russell and Olakunle Fatukasi, all these guys. Okay. Don't y'all think that, we're trying to maybe give, some potential, or we're preparing ahead? It just makes, what I have to say about this is, and I want to know what y'all have to say is, I think it's a fair game for anyone. Anthony Nelson, I have to say, maybe has a little bit of head start compared to all the rest of the guys, but minus him, I feel like they all got a chance. We're all going to use them here and there, everywhere, whenever we can. And all I really have to say as of right now is I need to see more, first of all, out of Cam Gill. And I have yet to see how people like Andre Anthony or people like Jordan Young, even Elijah Ponder, how they perform. But Carter, any overall thoughts on that?
Yeah, those are all just unknown guys, really. If they give you any type of production or any type of snaps, it's just kind of icing on the cake, because they're not going to be expected to really do much, and rightfully so. The Bucs have two kind of bookends, so to speak. I know that's usually mostly referred to for offensive linemen, but they have two really great players on both sides, on the edge rusher front. So I'm hoping that this is all just a formality. We're all just kind of talking about this just to talk, and that, Shaq and JTS stay healthy and they do a tremendous job, which I'm sure if they stay healthy, they will do a tremendous job, because they're both incredibly talented. But Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, we don't have to wonder too much about these young unknown guys. So yeah, that's kind of the overall thoughts on it for sure.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
see where your head's at.
Yeah, I mean Joe, JTS, Joe Tryon, Shoyinka, Nigeria right there. He he was a top pick last year, you know what I'm saying? And he played really well for us, last year as a rookie. So we'll see what happens, man. We have a lot of great players, outside linebackers, that definitely if any of them go down, I know we have depth. That's what I look at it right there. So
Yeah,
we're pretty.
yeah. I think we have. I mean, we have to have depth. I think, but I just hope that maybe the opportunity doesn't really arise that we have to throw a lot of these guys in there. I mean, even talking about the inside linebackers. Clearly, look, guys, we're an awesome team. Okay, look how far we went. We got a lot of good guys, and that means we have Devin White and Levante David. Of course, if they stay healthy, I'm not going to be worried at all. I feel like no one really is. Um, but what about people like KJ Britt, Grant Stewart, right behind these guys, where I feel like who may actually get a little bit more, I would say a lot more responsibility than last year. Okay, they bumped up the depth chart, and behind them, they got J.J. Russell, and we also picked up Olakunle Fatukasi, as I just mentioned. Um, how do we kind of think about, listen, if something pops up, maybe D White, David, they get banged up or something, or hey, listen, they need a break, they're humans, sometimes you just got to pop out, talk to the coach, or you got to throw in the other guy. Are these guys going to do anything for us, or how do we feel about this? I'll start off with you, Santiago.
Well, yeah, I mean, KJ Britt, you know, you know, Grant Stewart, Devin White, I mean, those are just, we have good depth in inside linebacker as well. So, we already know who the starter is going to be, right? But, definitely anybody that steps up. KJ Britt, tremendous player. Levante David, man, like we got we have depth. Our outside linebacker, our inside linebackers, we'll be fine. Honestly, we will be fine.
All right, all right. I like the optimism. Are you as optimistic as Santiago, Carter?
Oh, I mean, I can never be as optimistic as Santiago. Let's be real. No,
Yeah.
KJ Britt and Grant Stewart. I mean, they're both just young. They lack experience, and they weren't high draft picks, so they maybe, I hate to be harsh, but lack a little bit of the talent that certainly Levante David and Devin White do. But they're moving on from Kevin Minter, he was a big part of their special teams. He was a captain on the special teams squad. He filled in a few times, made some cameos when White or David were injured. So, they're counting on Britt and Stewart to step up, and I think they will. They both seem to have a good head on their shoulders. They wouldn't still be around if the Bucs didn't think highly of them. Their front office certainly has not been shy about cutting guys that aren't, pushing their weight. So we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I can't be as optimistic as Santiago, but I'm definitely excited to see how these young guys step in if they need to, which, knock on wood, hopefully they won't need to. But yeah, I mean, definitely nice to see guys getting some action. And we'll see how it goes for sure, for sure.
I just feel like overall our backups. We have a young core of backups, and at least when we're talking about KJ Britt and Grant Stewart and the other guys, um, it's just more about just seeing what they're able to do. Fortunately, I guess they didn't have to, hop in the field too much, but if needed be, I guess we're just gonna have to see. I'm hoping during training camp we'll get a little bit more insight on these rookies as well, but. Again, kind of the same feelings, with the outside linebackers. It's just more like, okay, clearly, our starters are real hot. We're a great team, but, when it comes to backups, we're just going to have to see how things work out just because we got a lot of new backups indeed. And that even, includes our cornerbacks. All right. Okay. Again, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. All right, the starters, but we got right behind them. Zion McCollum is projected to be the backup as well, along with Ross Cockrell. Guys, let's be honest. This was definitely the big talk this past season when it came to depth and overall issues. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Just with injuries, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. How do we feel about our cornerbacks? Just because it's looking pretty interesting. Fortunately, we still have someone like D. Delaney as well, but Chris Cooper, Nolan Turner, Don Gardner. Don't know much about, haven't seen really much either. And then even Kyler McMichael, Rashard Robinson, all these guys. How do we feel about the cornerbacks?
It's a little depressing, not gonna lie. Carlton Davis, the returners, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, they're all great players. I think they'll do a solid job. While the secondary certainly struggles at times, Sean Murphy-Bunting was getting absolutely roasted at some points during the season last year. They also dealt with a lot of injuries, so it's just tough to see them not go to free agency. They didn't spend a high draft pick on that position. Not that I'm really critiquing. I just really wish they would have spent a third rounder on the corner position. That would have been so perfect. That would have made their drafts, immaculate, just perfect. But I'm a bit of a control freak. I get weird about that kind of stuff. So, anyways, Zion McCollum should be really good. I really like Zion. Selfishly as a Pelicans fan, but also because genuinely I think he's going to be one of the steals of the draft. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, Ross Cockrell's a returner. He's a veteran presence, a guy to maybe help a guy like Zion develop. We'll see how it goes. Like you mentioned, though, all those other guys, hopefully we won't have to hear D. Delaney starting again this year. Oh, man, he looked like in rough shape last season at certain points. But, if he does, he'll be okay. They just might get, a little torched by some of these high-powered offenses that they're going to be facing. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this past season, we had to throw in people like D. Delaney, and my overall thoughts are just that I'm happy with what we have, at least with the first string and second string. I am satisfied, I guess. But yeah, this past season, it came to situations where we had to throw in people like D. Delaney, the third stringers as well, and that's when it got really concerning. But if that happens again, Santiago, do you think maybe things might be better? Just because, hey, listen, we did get people like Don Gardner and Kyler McMichael, Rashard Robinson, who I also don't know much about. Do you think maybe things may just be better? Are you also, as always, optimistic about this, or you're trying to maybe be a little bit more like, okay, no, this was an issue last year, and it may be an issue again?
Well, when we were just talking about our outside and inside linebackers, I was very, we have a solid group of players right there that are definitely are going to help us out, win games. Yeah, I agree with what Carter had to say, we had a lot of injuries last year and, that's worrying. And I agree, man, instead of getting, a punter, we should have gotten a corner. That's my opinion with that. To actually put a solid player back there, because there were some, maybe not, how would I say this? Maybe it wasn't, you're always going to get some sort of a good, the reason for the draft is because those are the best players coming out of college in their positions. So, I don't know, maybe the front office didn't think that there were maybe good cornerbacks in the draft, possibly, I'm guessing. I don't know, but I would have loved to see something thrown in there, but they decided to go, one of those two picks, they decided to go with a special teams player. So it is kind of frustrating. And hopefully, we don't have too much of an issue. If Delaney has to go in, hey, he better learn quick. He's been with us for a while now. So it's like, come on, man. You can't get roasted. Definitely not acceptable. We want to go win a championship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I probably just have to say I kind of have the same kind of thoughts with both of y'all. But if anything, Zion McCollum, Carter is probably the only one, the only rookie that I'm like, okay, on the defensive side that I'm really looking at, minus, like Logan Hall, of course, just because he is definitely going to be valuable for sure. Just naturally, I know that things are going to arise. He's going to be needed. And yeah, I just hope everything works out well. He could be a steal. He should be a steal. And praying he is. Yeah, that's really about it. But hey, listen, going on to the safety unit, we're talking about free safeties. Look, we get starters, Mike Edwards, all right, and what do you call? We got Antoine Winfield at free safety. Well, Winfield is starter, Mike Edwards right behind, but yeah, Chris Cooper, Nolan Turner, as I was talking about and I mentioned earlier. How do we feel about the free safeties? Winfield and Edwards, I've always been really happy about. This is Winfield the legend, with the little peace sign, and then we got Ball Hawk Edwards. But again, things were just a little interesting this past season, and I'm just wondering, does someone like Chris Cooper or Nolan Turner have any relevance, Carter?
I hope not. Good Lord, if he has relevance, that means Winfield and Edwards went down. Oh God, that would be a really tough situation. But Winfield is a phenomenal ball hawk. I mean, I love the way he plays. They really hit that pick out of the park. I mean, he was a second round guy. And yeah, he has just been phenomenal in his role. I think he's, in his second season was a little bit of a step back from his rookie year, just because he played so ridiculously well his rookie year. It was going to be tough to top that. But I think year 3, I think he might have one of those. He might just one of those guys, kind of a household name at the safety position. I think he's just prime and ready for a breakout. And Mike Edwards, he had a bit of a weird season last year. He had the vaccination thing where he got suspended, and he's I think he was under the assumption after Whitehead was signed elsewhere. I think he might have been under the assumption that he was going to be able to take over to start next to Winfield. So maybe he comes out motivated. Maybe he comes out, kind of ticked off that he didn't get that chance. And I certainly hope so, because, he seems like a talented guy, and he seems like he's got, a lot going for him. So maybe that chip on his shoulder will help push him to really, capitalize on that talent. And, but yeah, I think the Bucs are really set at the free safety position. Certainly a strength for them. How about y'all? How are y'all feeling?
Yeah, Santiago. I mean, I'm very happy with what we have right now. But if things pop up, what do you think of our backup / yeah, what do you think? What do you think could happen, or how do you feel?
I'm actually, I love, that's probably the most, talked to, that's the most, the most popular meme out there, with Anton Whitfield Jr. showing Tyreek the 2, like, we're going to win our second. Peace. We just won our second Super Bowl. Thank you very much. Other than that, yeah, we have, I'm pretty happy, I really am happy. I like, we got Logan Ryan, we do have depth. So, let's see here. I'm sorry, Mike Edwards as well. So, yeah, man, can we always get better? Yes. I'm not saying we can't, but, when you have, some good players like, Anton Winfield Jr., Mike Edwards coming back, specifically those 2 players right there. I don't know much about Keanu Neal, but, Logan Ryan, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty stoked, just like you guys are. So definitely,
Yeah,
I cannot complain about
right
that.
on. Yeah, just honestly, just hoping for the best, and if all goes well, then I think they're both extremely dangerous to our opponents, and I'm glad you brought up Logan Ryan and Keanu Neal, both new guys to our team. We just picked them up. Obviously, we got Whitehead. He went on over to New York. So overall thoughts on this, Carter. I've heard and I've seen nothing but good things from Logan Ryan, and then Keanu Neal. Rather interesting career just because of his position changes. But he has potential for sure. He's got the experience, and looking at them as the 1-2 punch right now, I'm kind of feeling the same way as the Winfield Edward connection. What about you?
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. I really couldn't be happier with what the Bucs have done at the safety position. I think it's become a real strength. It's one of the few positions on the roster where I think that they have actually a crazy amount of depth. Neil and Logan Ryan are both such great veteran presences, and I think that Neil is really itching to get back to his Atlanta Falcons days where he was just hard hitting and picking people off. He had some down years. He got hurt a little bit, and then Dallas, that was just a mess. The Cowboys were a mess in general last season. They were very successful because they lucked into drafting Parsons, but oh man, other than that, defensively, it was a little bit tough. It was tough to watch. So Neil being a linebacker is not it. Him transitioning back to his normal safety position, I think is just going to be a godsend for both him and the Bucs. So yeah, I'm real excited for him. I think he could have a really productive season, and I certainly hope so. Yeah, that's really all I got on those fellas.
All right, Santiago. Anything else you had about Logan Ryan or Keanu Neal, or even looking behind them, Troy Warner? That's a third string right there, strong safety. Do you have any kind of thoughts about him, or I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I really don't have much, and just because he's kind of at that point, it's as Carter says, it's like, oh yikes. Okay, if we're seeing people like him, that's when we're in trouble. But I don't know. Do you have anything about him?
No, I don't, honestly. So, definitely we got to see what they, what they can bring. Um, hopefully they can. I just want us to stay healthy. You know what I mean? It's very tough, but I just, you know, we have. I know our team. We made predictions in previous episodes of, like, what we believe our record's gonna be. So, honestly, our free safety, our secondary, they have to, how would I say, really step up their game, because this is the fourth toughest schedule of any team. Fourth toughest schedule in the NFL this coming season. So, you know, we can have a lot of stressful games coming. Where we are like at the edge of our seats and we win by a field goal. And our, you know, I remember Carter saying, like, that field goal, the field goal player, the field goal player that we just drafted, he better do his job, and I totally agree. But so I don't have anything much else to say, you know, about Keanu Neal and Logan Ryan. So, they're being that they're veteran players in the NFL. I mean, bring it on, man, bring it, just bring it, let's go.
Absolutely. Guys, let me tell you something. I told you before, and I give a shout out to all our listeners. I said, if someone's kind of bugging you or roasting you about, what you be repping, those ugly outfits they, supposedly call, let me tell you something. When I opened up my closet and I showed it to my friends, they all said, "Oh, snap. Hey, we got nothing to say anymore, Musab." You know why is that? Because I went on over to shop.rblrsports.com and I got me some sick threads. All right, let me tell you something. Liking and subscribing is free, of course. All right, but if you need some new threads like me, you can support this podcast and head on over to shop.rblrsports.com and check out all the sick designs we got for you. You best believe we got shirts in the colors of our beloved teams, repping the football team, the hockey team, the soccer team, and the baseball team, of course. And let me bless you with a little promo code that is Cannons, Cannons, for 10% off your order. There's a link right in the description. All right. Well, hey, we can't finish and we cannot forget the kickers and the punters, gentlemen. Don't you ever forget about the special teams unit, especially those vital role players. Look, we got Ryan Suckup and Jose Borregales, and that's really just about it. Well, actually, I'll even say this. I mean, with the kickers, they even, we got Jake Camarda and Bradley Pinion, but obviously that's more on the punter side. But starting off with the kickers, anything, guys, did y'all have to say? I mean, sometimes this thing, field goals, they can come in clutch big time for sure. And I just want to know, does Jose Borregales, based on what you know about him, have any relevance to this upcoming season? Is there a reason why we, have this guy? Is it just because, okay, hey, whatever, things happen, et cetera, et cetera? Maybe, I don't know, COVID, for example, maybe it's still kind of a thing that, the NFL is keeping aware of, or these teams are keeping aware of, so they want to have a backup. Anything, guys? Carter, we'll start off with you.
Oh, man, you started off with the right guy. I'm a huge Ryan Suckup fan. Ryan Suckup has been, a little bit ironically, a little bit sarcastically, but he's been my favorite Bucs player just because I know that, as fellow Bucs fans, we have all witnessed the Matt Bryant curse that has plagued this team for the past seemingly decade. Ever since they cut him, they have been going through kicker after kicker after kicker. So having Ryan Suckup finally actually bring some kind of stability to that position has just been so wonderful. And I hope they continue it. But, there's competition. Ryan Suckup took a bit of a step back last season, it seemed like. He seemed to miss a lot more kicks in a lot more key situations than he was in the Super Bowl season. But, that also could be nitpicking a little bit. But, the numbers do show it. He went from 90% to 83% on his overall field goals, which is not good. But he also increased his PAT percentage. So I don't know. I really like Ryan Suckup. He has made some really key kicks, and I think he's just a real stable force at that kicking position that the Bucs have not had in a very long time. So yeah, I don't know. I hope they stick with Suckup, but I also know that salary cap constraints may become an issue. So we'll see how it goes. How are y'all feeling about it?
Yeah, Santiago, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Carter just had to say. You know what I mean? Like Ryan Suckup was one of the main reasons why we won a Super Bowl. It kind of reminds me of a Martin Gramatica. Martin Gramatica in his era was a great kicker. And yeah, Carter, I agree with what Carter just said. For a while after Martin, before Ryan Suckup came around, like we were definitely, Matt Bryant, we were definitely struggling with kicks. Like we could not, put it from close range to, like close range. That should be easy. And because as a kicker, you're a player, you're getting paid a lot of money to put it through the upright. And if you can't do that, then, you're going to get cut. So, I'm glad Ryan Suckup, has been clutch for us. So, yeah, I agree, man. Wouldn't mind rocking a Ryan Suckup jersey, but hey, Ryan Suckup, you should get an RBLR Sports color Bucs T-shirt. You know what I mean? Definitely would
All
love to
right,
see
I
one of
love it.
those in the
For sure,
press
for sure.
conference. You know what I mean?
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I just see like Jose Borregales is just like the backup just for emergency situations or whatever. I just think that whatever, I guess COVID injuries, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Suckup's the guy for sure. But let's talk about the punters, just because we drafted a punter rather a little earlier than anyone thought. Slash, I wasn't expecting to draft a punter, but Carter, I know you have some very optimistic feelings, of course, about Jay Camarda. Don't lie to me. Are you repping his jersey right now?
It's gonna be a hard no. Yeah, no. As you mentioned sarcastically, I am not super. It has nothing to do with Jake Camarda as a punter. It has everything to do with where they drafted him. I really hope that I'm wrong. I hope that he turns out to be a punter that really should have been picked in the third round or some crazy shit like that. But I don't see a world where I look back at this draft and think, boy, I sure am glad the Bucs drafted that punter in the fourth round. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being harsh, but good Lord. Anyways, I digress. That's getting away from the point. Jake Camarda is going to be a fine punter, I'm sure. And Bradley Pinion, they've needed to move on from him for a while simply because his salary cap hit is just so massive for the amount of production that he gives. So, it was needed. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic about Camarda as a punter, as in that he's probably going to be an upgrade from Pinion. But am I optimistic about where they drafted him? I have shown that I am absolutely not. How about y'all, though? How about y'all?
Yeah, what about you, Santiago?
I agree, exactly. Like, hey, Jay Camarda, you have to prove with that pick that we selected you, not in the seventh round, not in the fifth round, not in the sixth round. Sorry, I switched the numbers around, but in the fourth round. Like, you better bring it. Like, I'm literally, here at RBLR, we are literally wanting you to make some clutch punts, to have our opponents be like in their end zone, I mean, when they want to start, a drive, we don't want them to start at the 20. We want them to start like at the 2. So, I mean, at least, just bring it, what I mean? Like, whatever you have to do, take some Zoa from like The Rock or something like that, or, something like, but, just bring it, that's what I'm telling you,
Yeah,
but,
you got a lot of you got a lot of high expectations for the young man Jay Camarda. He surely did real well at University of Georgia. Carter, I'm kind of with you on this. We needed to remove, or not remove, but we needed to replace Bradley Pinion. But it was rather interestingly too early, the way I see it, to get someone like him. But I don't know, you know, just because I guess he comes from the championship team, and there's always that one interesting pick that the Buccaneers do every single year. I feel like last year's it was Kyle Trask, and this year it was Jake Camarda. So hopefully, he does a good job. He gets plenty of action, just because I think it's time to replace Bradley Pinion. But that's kind of just really about it for me. And I do think that it is very important that if he does get a shot, that we do have high expectations, because punting, kicking, yeah, they're both very, very important, and it's not something to be slept on, especially in close games. So that's kind of all I have to say. Uh, Anything else?
Nah, man. Yeah, just we'll see how it goes. I hope they stick with Ryan Suckup, my main man, Ryan Suckup, and I hope he continues his winning ways as a kicker. But yeah, we'll certainly see. Kickers seem to be as flaky as the weather. I mean, it seems like they're in constant flux. Other than Justin Tucker, it seems like there's always a new kicker on every team every year. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe Jay Camarda becomes like the legendary Pat McAfee kind of kicker. Maybe he has his own little Jay Camarda show. Maybe, just maybe. Santiago, you think that's a chance or not?
Yeah, hopefully, man. Definitely want Ryan Suckup to be clutch still. We definitely, hey, like every other position needs to have depth. Hey, if we definitely don't want to see any injuries, of course. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
But
sure.
if anything happens, whoever's next, Jay Kamar and anybody, you gotta do you're in this league, you better make clutch plays in every position.
Yeah. Oh
That's why
yeah.
you're getting paid the big bucks. When there's only a small percentage of players that actually make it to the NFL draft, and these you were gifted. You were gifted. The man upstairs gave you gift, so you better bring it. You better bring it. I'm repeating myself with
Santiago,
that
you may have to give a
phrase right
little
there.
speech. You may have to give
You
a little
know,
speech at training camp to all of our rookies out there, motivating them, just because you got me a little fired up as well. And I'm glad.
yeah.
I'm glad. Hey, listen, I'm glad you kind of fired me up as well. And when you're saying to all of our backups, you got to step up to the plate. This is your time to shine. I'm thinking, well, in regards to our backups, Carter and Santiago, just because I'm gonna keep it real to you, ain't none of our starters on the bubble the way I see it, but is there anyone on the bubble with our backups? Well, first, I'm just going to start off with this, just because I've already been ranting about him just now. Bradley Pinion, I think his days for sure are over. Do we think that is kind of like a confident yes, or we're still maybe wanting to just have a little bit of competition in the punting, area? Or it's just like, no, this is Jake Camarda's time, whatever. We got him early, blah, blah, blah. But nope, it's his time.
Oh, dude, if Bradley Pinion plays a single snap this year over Jake Camarda, I think I might projectile vomit because good Lord, that's just ugh. Anyways,
Good Lord, I might say good Lord if I see you projectile vomit.
no, but it's just like, man, Jake Camarda was drafted in the 4th round. Like, there shouldn't be any competition whatsoever. I think it's certainly accurate to say he's on the bubble, but I think Bradley Pinion's more out the door. Like, I just, there's not a universe where you draft a punter in the 4th round and then he's not immediately starting. So like I said, if he isn't starting, I will be shocked. I will be distraught. I hope he's starting. I hope there's not an open competition because that would mean that the Bucs really, really screwed it up and they really messed up that 4th round pick, which, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree with what Carter just said. You're coming from a big, big program, the biggest program right now in college football, which is the University of Georgia. It's like any player right now that comes from the University of Georgia or even Alabama. Like you're top-notch players. You're top-notch. You are used to that. You are used to pressure. So the NFL is a little bit up, is up from college football, but still, when you're at a big program like that, and I'm not talking about a small school, I'm talking about a massive program that just won the national title, you're on the biggest stage, just
Yeah.
like
No,
recently, in
I
the
think
national
it's his
title game.
time. I think it's time. It's his time to shine for sure. I think Pinion's days are over. But Card and Santiago. I mean, do you all have any guys on the bubble?
I'm going to be honest. I think really, other than the punting situation, they really have a pretty good idea of who's starting. I mean, there's not really any positions where you think, oh, well, there's a bit of his. Russell Gage is kind of, I don't want to say an unknown, but he's new. And they still have Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson and guys like that. But you don't pay a guy $11 million if you expect him to not play and contribute immediately. So that's why I'm not really sold on him. I guess maybe you could say the tight end position, just because Gronk is still a question mark. Is Cam Brate going to start? It's just it's a bit iffy at the tight end position, but I don't know if I would call Cam Brate being on the bubble, because if Gronk comes back, it's obviously Gronk's position, and if he doesn't, I think it's pretty obvious that Cam Brate it's his battle to lose. So I don't know if I have any other guys on the bubble. What about you, Santiago? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, other than what we were talking about, like the secondary, what I'm saying? Like, I think those are the two areas of our team that really, they have to, they're going to get chewed out if they don't perform to what every other position is: inside linebacker, outside linebacker, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. So, you know, I agree with what just Carter just said, but um, yeah, man, you better, everybody just bring it. You got to put that slogan, like the Rock slogan, into the locker room. Just bring it. You know what I mean? That's what it is,
Yeah.
man.
I
For
think
real.
honestly, I mean, yeah, the starters on both ends are looking real great. And for me, it's kind of just like anyone is really on the bubble, at least with the backups. I don't really have anyone specific in mind, but I mean, I also don't mean to just kind of nitpick and just only pinpoint on a few players, but it's kind of just like, people like uh, Cam Gill, is kind of like the first guy I thought of, or even someone like Anthony Nelson. Those kind of guys, especially just because we're just talking about them right now. It's just like, okay, well, listen, uh, you know, at least for Anthony Nelson, he showed me something. But Cam Gill, I mean, I didn't see that much. Whether that just be because JTS had a lot of action, but I don't know. It's just like, with the backups, we got so many new guys, gentlemen, that it's just like it's a fair game with that. But starter wise, yeah, I'm fired up. I am hype. But so I mean, with that being said, I want to know, breakout players. Are there any players, Carter, Santiago, that like that got you a little bit excited, especially for this season? Maybe they've been balling out, but you're like, what, this season they're about to just go off. It's their season, they're taking over, et cetera, et cetera. Carter, do you have a guy or two?
Yeah, I mean, I think my number one choice is definitely JTS, Joe Tryon. I mean, he is primed and ready. He was a first round pick for a reason. JPP's gone. It's his time to shine. I think he's definitely my number one choice for a breakout season. Number two, I think I'd have to go with Winfield. He, like, I don't want to say he took a step back, but he just, he was having to deal with a lot of different corners in the secondary. So I'm sure that played a huge role in his, bit of step back in production, just because, teams were able to just kind of target D. Delaney and Richard Sherman. Good Lord. I think that Winfield is going to have a huge step forward, especially since I find it really hard to believe that the Bucs are going to get that unlucky in back-to-back seasons with secondary injuries, but crazier things have happened. But Winfield and JTS, definitely my two choices for a breakout year.
Right on, right on. What about you, Santiago?
Well, I want to have a breakout year. I want to have Ryan Suckup, because we definitely have to keep, him as a top-notch kicker. He cannot lose focus. So that's my top. And then, obviously, I always got to go with, let's have I'm going to say Mike Evans. Let's have another record breaking season. You know what I mean? So let's make it. Definitely, he's going to get some big numbers as well.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think they're all going to ball out for sure with that. But I'm going to say this: what kind of has me a little bit excited is I want to see how the Logan Ryan, Antoine Winfield duo, how that works out, or even we'll throw in Keanu Neal and Mike Edwards. But I want to see how that kind of works out, just because I'm like, okay, this is, I sense something special. If all remain healthy, I really do sense something special. Um, I'm very glad that we were able to get Logan Ryan. He is a great leader. He's got the experience. He balled out in New York, and I am nothing but optimistic. But on top of that, I think this is his time to ball out for sure, more than any other year in the past, and that is playoff, regular season, whatever you want to call him, Leonard Fournette. Seriously, this is his time to shine. He signed with us again. Fortunately, that was awesome, and I think he wants to prove why he's worth the money. And that's really about it. He is a key piece to our offense, and I really do think that we're going to be counting on him a lot. Anything else? Any other maybe players you might have in mind, or kind of any overall final thoughts with just anything that may stand out, or you're looking to maybe stand out for you this upcoming season?
I'm happy Brady's back, man. I'm always gonna say that, man. You know what I'm saying? That I'm always gonna say that, like the GOAT. Oof, it was rough in the beginning, but when he's like, "Hey guys," like in The Shining, "I'm back," like. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be, oof, like, we won the Super Bowl this season. It's a statue going up for Brady here. Watch.
Oh snap! Okay, all right, Mr. Brady. I get. What about you, Carter? Where's your head at?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not nearly as no one can match Santiago's level of enthusiasm, and we all love him for it. But I'm definitely excited for the upcoming season. I mean, having Tom Brady be back is always going to be a plus. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Bucs have struck this really good balance of building for now and also building for the future. I think that they've done that really well by building from the inside out. The Logan Hall pick was just a continuance of that trend, as well as the JTS pick from the previous season. So, yeah, I'm really excited about the direction this team's headed, just because while Tom Brady certainly turns them into Super Bowl contenders, I think that with the type of culture and the talent that they're building on this team, I think that this is a sustainable amount of success. They're not just going to, as soon as Tom Brady leaves, will they be a lot worse? Yeah, of course, because if you lose a guy like him, they will. But I think that they've done a really good job this offseason of continuing that trend of building for now and also building for the future.
I like it. Yeah, you know what, Carter? I'm also focused on the now. All right. Yeah. Well, obviously Brady's gonna have to retire one day. They're all gonna have to retire one day, but I am nothing but fired up this upcoming season for sure. And listeners, we can't finish without thanking y'all. Seriously, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, even leave a rating and review. That would mean so much. To catch all the latest, you can follow us on Instagram at RBLR Sports and on Twitter at RBLR Sports. And as well, we're on Facebook. But hey, you're listening this on somewhere, whether that be on Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. And, just a little friendly reminder, we really, really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to us. You made it to the end, and we really do appreciate that. So we hope you enjoyed our deep dive into all things, Buccaneers football related, kind of going in on these positions with some news and, we're talking about, our hot takes in regards to, who's on the bubble / who's going to ball out this upcoming season. I'm going to keep it real with y'all, Carter and Santiago. As I said before, I'm getting like this fresh, renewed feeling, and I'm honestly just super, super hyped. Looking back at all that's happened, it's so exciting to see how much we've done, and it's so exciting to know that we're just getting closer and closer to all the fun starting in August. Keep that energy up, fans. Rep your fave Bucs tank, your favorite koozie at the next barbecue you're at. It's always a great day to be a Buc. All right. Well, that's all, folks. Thanks again, and as always, go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.